What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our week 2 team builder, taking on Jed and the Adelaide Overheat. Should be a really fun one. Jed is always a good fight for us. He is coming into the season pretty strong. He came off of a semifinals placement last season, and we did not make playoffs. This matchup is kind of iffy for me. I'm not entirely sure where I stand with this one, but he's got a pretty solid team in front of him as well. Only problem I see is that there's no water type on the team at all, so his water resists are pretty much go-goat, and that's it. And we're gonna try and capitalize on that with both of our water types here, which actually originally were not on the team. And I totally blanked, didn't see that he didn't have a water type. So shoutouts to Cade for giving me a hand here on the team this week. In fact, I originally had Talonflame and Masquerain, and I'll sort of talk about those as I get through Starmie and Vaporeon. But let's talk about Jed's team. He's got the Celesteela, Alakazam, Umbreon, Nidoking, Type Null, Avalugg, Mega Charizard X, Mimikyu, Galvantula, Gogoat, and Lycanroc Dusk. Priority user, sorry, a Nidoking with Sucker Punch, Mimikyu with Shadow Sneak, Galvantula with Sucker Punch, Lycanroc Dusk with Sucker Punch, and a Celorock. Hazard setting in the Nidoking with Rocks, Galvantula with Webs, Lycanroc with Rocks, so pretty poor hazard setters. And then removal options are just the Avalugg with Rapid Spin and the Charizard X with a Defog for itself, so he's also really weak to hazards. He's got no 4x weaknesses to exploit those, so that's worthy to note there. He's relatively weak to fighting, but like not all that much because he's got Mimikyu still there, and he's got the Nidoking and the Alakazam. But then like Umbreon's weak, Avalugg's weak, Type Null's weak, Lycanroc's weak, so it kind of balances out, but not really. And because of that, Buzzwole has a super easy time breaking through his walls, just because of the super effective coverage I have against his team. Buzzwole just kind of smashes through everything, stopping it. In terms of what I don't think he's going to bring, I actually don't really anticipate Umbreon all that much. He might bring it just to stop me spamming Psychic moves with Hoopa, or Dark moves with Hoopa as well, I guess. It just seems like it's a really odd bring against my team, because I have a bunch of ways to break through Umbreon. Like, I've got Double Bug. I guess if he really fears Bronzong, he might bring it or something. Wait, do I have Double Bug or Triple Bug? No, I have Double Bug and a Fighting. Garchomp Mega Diancie has a really easy time breaking through Umbreon. It's kind of setup fodder against other things, but then again, he might bring it as well because I'm also triple Psychic. So I'm sort of torn, but if he brings it, that's good for me, because it means something else isn't coming that I would be actually scared of. Gogoat, I don't really see coming unless it's legitimately his Garchomp check. I think Celesteela is a much better Garchomp check than Gogoat is, but that could be his strategy. And then everything else has a chance of coming. I'm thinking that the Mimikyu, Celesteela, Galvantula, Nidoking are guaranteed. And then it's a toss-up. Maybe Zardex comes, maybe Type Null comes, maybe Avalugg comes, who knows. I could definitely see Avalugg coming as a Garchomp check, potentially. I could see Type Null coming as potentially a Hoopa check. So there's a few options there for him. Vaporeon's just a Fizdef wall with Roar, so I've got some phasing there for the Zardex, Mimikyu, etc. Type Null, even if it wants to set up on me. Lycanroc if it wants to set up on me. Scald Wish Protect, I mean, again, his water resists are Gogoat, and if I burn the Gogoat, that's fine. I can get some Wish Passes off into some of my weak... Well, everything else is frailer, so Wish Passing into pretty much anything would be beneficial. Yeah, and then Protect there, obviously, to get the Wish back and get our lefties back. Keeping Vaporeon healthy isn't super duper important, but it's somewhat important. Water Absorb's actually not as good as Hydration here, but I don't think that he's going to run Rain Dance anyways. So Vaporeon's basically without an ability this week because he's not going to bring any water coverage, and he doesn't have a water type. So there's, yeah, that's what's going on there. So I'm just going to eat some fries in the middle of this because they're getting cold. Diancie's next. Mega Diancie, Moonblast, Diamond Storm, Protect, and Earth Power. Protect is there. I'm going to Scout turn 1. This is my dedicated lead. If I see Galvantula, this is 100% my dedicated lead. Excuse me. Strategy is to Protect turn 1, I will bounce back his webs if he goes for webs for whatever reason, thinks he can threaten me out. I'm invested enough to take an HP steal from Life Orb Galvantula, which is generally the most damage he could do, unless he specs. If he specs, I'll find out that he specs, because he'll kill me, and that's the only way he kills me is if he's specs, because Expert Belt is lower damage than Life Orb. If he's Scarf, he'll outspeed me, which is really good information, because I will kill it if he's Scarfed. I'll kill it if he's Life Orb. If he's Sashed, I'll outspeed him, two-shot him, and he can't kill me with HP Steal. And so that's kind of what it's on my mind. It slipped through my mind. I'm like, oh, fuck, he might have Energy Ball. I live Energy Ball just the same as I live HP Steal. A little bit more comfortably I live Energy Ball, actually. And even with no investment, I still obliterate his face with Diamond Storm. So that's 100% my play. Every day of the week against a Galvantula lead, this can take advantage of Umbreon and just get huge amounts of damage off against it. I've got the Earth Power there for the Nidoking. He doesn't really have a DNC check. Everything gets hit neutral or super effective by this. And if he's going to be Spadef Celesteela as a check to DNC, then Diamond Storm's going to blow it back. And if he's Fizdef, then Moonblast should still do a chunk, or Diamond Storm should also still do a chunk, because I am hasty nature. I'm not going to stay in on it unless I can kill it, though, because Heavy Slam always has the threat of just obliterating me and giving him a Beast Boost, so no thank you. Next up is, I'm also outspeeding Galvantula with this speed investment. I thought it was wise to do that instead of trying speed tie Lycanroc, which is going to carry the Drill Run anyways. Or it's just going to click a Cell Rock, so there's no point in me trying to speed tie that. He's gonna have to speed tie me though, under that threat, and so I'm not super worried about it. Buzzwole is a nice physically defensive wall this week. Like I said, it takes down all of his walls. Go-Goat's weak to Bug, Type Null is weak to Fighting, Umbreon's weak to both Bug and Fighting, Avalug's weak to Fighting. Those are basically his walls. And then Celesteela is weak to Electric with the Thunder Punch there. It's also neutral to the Drain Punch, so yeah, Buzzwole's got a really easy time of just sort of coming in on his walls and clicking buttons. I think that threat brings in his offense a little bit more. Maybe gets his offense chipped a little bit more. You know, Lycanroc has a really tough time breaking through Buzzwole unless it's Splintered Storm Shards. Mimikyu can't kill me with Play Rough outright because of my fat physical defense. I'm really worried about the Alakazam, which is why I'm Payapa Berry. If he's Sashed Alakazam, then I'm in a shit spot anyways. But at the very least, if he's Sashed, I can live the Psychic from full, and I can get a Leech Life off. If he's Psyshock, I live it even more comfortably because of my physical defense, which is why I think he's going to be Psychic. I think he'd be Psychic for Buzzwole and Mungus, rather than Psyshock for nothing, actually, really. Psyshock doesn't make any sense over Psychic against my team. If he's Life Orb, he'll die to the Leech Life, and I'll get a shitload of HP back, and will eliminate a threat. And if he is Sashed, then I will kill him. I'll be able to sack something else, I'll take him down to Sash. I'll be able to kill something else, most likely, go into my next Mon that can Revenge Kill it, which is the Garchomp, and I'm Choice Scarfed. So Scarf Chomp has a pretty decent matchup here. The main idea behind it is that I can outrun Charizard X after a Dragon Dance. I don't necessarily know that he would be a Dragon Dance variant, but that's the play for sure. The only things that'll outspeed me are like Scarf Lycanroc, Scarf Galvantula, and Scarf Zam. And if he's Scarf Zam, he dies to the Buzzwole set, like I said. Earthquake is just really spammable against most of his team. The Mons that do appreciate Earthquake are Celesteela and Go-Goat, and both of them are weak to Fire. So I've got the Fire Blast on there to hit both of them. It should hit them both pretty hard. I've got the Toxic there just in case I need it against something like a Type Null, against something like an Umbreon, against something like an Avalugg, against something like a Go-Goat. Catch them, switch again. Rocks put a lot of pressure on his team. Again, his removal is really shit. And both of his removing Mons are weak to Rocks, and they're the reason I would want Rocks up. Also breaking any potential Sashes, except for the Alakazam. It's probably got Magikarp Sash. Again, I'm outspeeding the Charizard X, max attack, a little bit of HP. Hoopa-Unbound, I'm running a fully specially defensive Assault Vest set. Now, this is really interesting. I'm a mixed variant. Originally, I was Specs, and I had Trick over the Thunderbolt, and I had Focus Blast over Drain Punch. I ended up swapping that out and running Assault Vest instead. This way I can actually eat some Nidoking hits fairly well. I actually eat Bug Buzz from Life Orb Galvantula, which is kind of fun, and I eat Signal Beam from the Alakazam. There's not a lot that gets bug moves on his team in terms of physical bug moves. It's basically Mimikyu with Leech Life and Type Null with U-Turn, from what I know. I'm pretty sure that's it. Everything else is like special bug moves. I'm not sure if Galvantula gets U-Turn or not, actually, now that I'm thinking about that. He's the kind of player who would run that sort of thing. But basically, I can comfortably live the Signal Beam from Alakazam, get a Dark Pulse off, and again, if I have to sack something getting Garchomp to kill it, then I do. Dark Pulse is really spammable against this team, because his Fairy is neutral to Dark, and Umbreon is weak to Drain Punch, which I can go for against the Umbreon. Probably wouldn't want to stay in all that often against Umbreon when Buzzwole is a very, very free switch and pressures him immensely. But Hoopa is just there to sort of dish out damage, eat hits from the special attackers, and go from there. I can reasonably comfortably 1v1 the Celesteela, and I've got Thunderbolt there to make sure that that works out. I didn't want to be like a minus speed nature. Well, maybe I do. Maybe that's the play, actually, is going minus speed instead of minus attack. Let's go with Sassy Hoopa, and I'll update that on my my prep doc later. But now Drain Punch should be doing a little bit more damage to everything else. Yeah, Thunderbolt comfortably should two-shot the Celesteela, even if he's specially defensive, I think, just because Hoopa's special attack is so nuts. Again, I should be able to eat a Nidoking hit and kill it with Psychic, which is something. Of course, I'm not running any speed for it, but yeah. Hoopa, it can put in minor amounts of work. I don't think it's going to put in a ton of work for me, but it's efficient at what it does. I was originally going to bring a Moongus in this spot, but a Moongus really got pressured by his team. Alakazam, Celesteela, Galvantula kind of set up webs free on it. Charizard X, it's literally set up fodder for Charizard X. The only move I had on the set was like Clear Smog, and Celesteela literally walls that, so went with Hoopa instead. Excuse me. And then last but not least, what used to be Talonflame and is now Starmie is a Spec Starmie with Rapid Spin, Surf, Psychic, and Trick. So again, his water resists are Go-Goat. So Spec Surf is very, very spammable against his team. Cated to just Hydro. I'm not down for an 8 move when he's got an Umbreon. I'd much rather just have Surf, play it safe, maybe trick the Specs onto Umbreon later. Just Dual Stab kind of runs his fade. And that's enough for me, honestly. That's really enough for me. You know, at points, Psychic is really only doing more damage to Go-Goat, but having something to hit the Go-Goat is fine. Because Surf and Psychic are going to be equal damage against literally everything else, but I'd rather have something to hit the Go-Goat with. So, went with Psychic over like HP Fire or something, which sounds stupid with a spec set. I'd rather spam Psychic. Oh, excuse me. Rapid Spin for his webs and whatnot. I was a Defog Talonflame before, but it's fine going with the Starmie here. I'm outspeeding Lycanroc Dusk and max special attack, a little bit of HP. Analytic because I actually force a lot of switches. Something like Nidoking cannot stay in on me. Something like Lycanroc cannot really stay in on me. You know, even the Charizard can't really stay on me, so there's a lot of times where I'm going to be able to get analytic boosted hits off, and I'm hoping one analytic boosted hit into a non-analytic boosted hit might deal with the Umbreon, depending on his investment. It really depends if he's like fully Spadef Umbreon for like Specs Hoopa, but that is what I would anticipate there. So in terms of what I didn't bring, Amoonguss I sort of talked about a little bit here. Bronzong is big fodder for both Mimikyu and Charizard, and it's literally set up fodder for both. So even though it can like kind of reliably wall the Lycanroc, it's not a reliable enough check to it when it gets crunched either way. Same with Nidoking, it just gets Flamethrower to hit it. He's going to have Flamethrower. He'll probably have Sludge Wave, Ice Beam. Well, he might not have Sludge Wave. He might have Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Earth Power. Filler move, potentially Sub, potentially Sucker Punch. Not entirely sure what he would want to go with there, but that's sort of what I predict the Nidoking set to be. Rotom Frost had an okay matchup as well. You know, it was sort of another one of those mons that didn't really have resist to it. Like Electric and Ice just beats that whole team. I don't know, it was a little bit too slow this week. excuse me, in terms of an offensive threat, it's like DNC, Garchomp, and Starmie are all really fast, and so that was the idea behind that. Talonflame, again, I did have it on the team. Same with Masquerain. I had both of them on the team originally and then swapped them out for Vaporeon and Starmie. I think this is going to be a little bit more consistent, so I do want to thank Kate again for helping out with that. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. That's going to be it for me, and I will catch you guys for the match against Jed and the Adelaide Overheat.